Hello, fellow empowerment seekers and self-healers. My name is Kristen Brown. I'm a spiritual and empowerment author, healer, and mentor. And today I'm going to be talking to you about a really big question, which is, can a narcissist change? This is something that I've asked myself several times, and I have learned a lot about this topic, not only through what I have read and watched, but also through personal experiences and a bunch of trial and error. And I have discovered what I believe is the golden ticket when it comes to dealing with this. And today I want to share with you all the information that I've acquired, because I feel like once you know the nuances of this, the ins and outs of this, that you're going to be armed with the knowledge necessary to make the best choices and decisions for you and those you love. So straight off the top, I want to talk about a statistic that I heard recently, which is that narcissists make up only 5% of the population. So let's think about it this way. If there's 100 people watching this video at any given time, and all of you believe that you are dealing with a narcissist, only 5 of you are dealing with what is considered a true narcissist. So if that's the case, who's the 95% of the other people? Who is it that everybody else is dealing with? So this is why I've come up with the term called NTP, narcissistic type person. So if there's only 5% that are true narcissists and these 95 are not, what are they? Well, they're people that are exhibiting narcissistic type behaviors. Now, they may not be a true narcissist yet. They are crazy making, they are toxic, they're driving you nuts. You can't make any headway with them. They're extremely dysfunctional. It's a very unhealthy exchange between the two of you. And you're wondering, should I stay or should I go? Here's what's interesting. Often when we're in relationships with these type of people, we love these people. And there's a huge chunk of them, maybe 75 to 80% of them, that is really great, that we love so much. But this 20 to 25% is absolutely horrid. And you're getting worn down. You're getting tired. You've lost yourself. You're like, I don't know what's going on here. This person must be a narcissist. The word narcissist has really become popular in pop culture. It is a huge word that's being thrown around left and right all over the place for people who are difficult to deal with. And I understand it's just a really easy way to label a set of behaviors, which is why I came up with the word NTP. However, that doesn't mean that we're actually dealing with a narcissist. So first, I'm going to answer the question, can a narcissist change? If we're dealing with a true blue narcissist, when it comes to the researchers and the doctors and the professionals in this field, they will tell you no, or highly, 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 highly unlikely, which means there is a teeny tiny percent of a possibility that they can change. However, they said it's going to be a very, very long and slow process, if ever that it happens. So if that's the case and someone's dealing with a true blue narcissist, you have to really ask yourself, do I want to put myself through this any longer? Now, to answer the question, can an NTP change? The answer is yes. Now, this is going to take some unpacking, so I super hope that you stay through the end of this video, because I don't want you to just take this tiny bit of information, go run with it, and then say, oh, this didn't happen for me. It didn't work for me. It's because there's a lot of nuance to this. There's a lot of pieces and parts into this equation that once you know this knowledge, it's going to make perfect sense to you. So be sure to watch through the end of the video. I'm going to go back to the beginning of how narcissists and NTPs are formed, because they are not born this way. They did not have a certain gene that made them turn into this as they grew older, which I believe psychopathy does, and maybe even sociopathy does. Don't quote me, I don't know that for sure, but narcissists do not. They are actually created through the events, experiences, and traumas through their childhood, and likely lack of proper parenting, maybe even tons of enabling. There's all kinds of experiences that come together that makes their brain change, which means they start acting in a way that is considered dysfunctional in order to get their needs met. But also, NTPs as well as narcissists are likely not called out throughout their life. There's not somebody saying, hey, that behavior is not okay. Because if that was true, if they were taught to take responsibility for their behavior in their childhood, none of this would have formed in them, because they would be forced to look within and to go within, which is the difference between why someone becomes an NTP or a people pleaser. And that is because oftentimes people pleasers do go within, and they do look within themselves, and they try to better themselves or make themselves nicer or kinder or more likable to the world out there because that's what people pleasers do. But yet the narcissist or NTP does not do that. They're just looking to fill their own cup. Now, it's not their fault they became this way. I'm just going to tell you, they were children, innocent kids, just like me and you. And this is what their environment and the stories and the traumas and all the things created within them. So what we're truly dealing with when we're dealing with a narcissist, an NTP, or even a people pleaser, the way all of these happen is through the unhealed wounds. So what we're really dealing with are wounded people. That is what is coming to the table with these set of behaviors and the way their brain is thinking. Because think about it, if you're a people pleaser, you're someone who is always trying to please other people and appease other people and get other people's approval and to be liked and all of these type of things. And it's extremely natural to you. Like this is just how you show up in the world. And at some point, you may have some experiences that finally make you go, okay, I'm a people pleaser and I don't like this. It's like, this is not working for me because I'm not getting the experiences and the abundance and the wonders of my life that I really want to experience. Well, this can happen is equally true for an NTP. They're showing up in a world as certain type of behaviors, but if they keep getting everything that they want, then they're going to stay that way. So if you're in relationship with an NTP, the deal is to become so centered in your boundaries, knowing your worth, knowing your value so incredibly much that you will not fold on a boundary. Because here's the thing, in order for people to change, wounded people to heal in this life, which is part of the spiritual journey, that's what we're here for. We get wounded in our childhood, we fracture away from our whole authentic and unconditionally loving self, and the journey is to come back to that self. And that cannot happen sometimes for people until the pain of staying the same outweighs the fear of change, the unknown of change, or oftentimes outweighs the ego and pride and stubbornness. And unless that happens for somebody, likely they're just going to be staying on their same automatic brainwave pattern, the firing and wiring that they've done their whole life, going down the same thoughts and the same actions and the same behaviors over and over again until there is a wake-up call. An unhealed person has the capacity, an NTP has the capacity to change. You might be thinking, Kristen, how do you know this? How do you know this for sure? And I'm going to tell you, because I'm a coach and I'm a mentor, and I have been a researcher of human nature my entire life. I ask questions, I observe, and I'm super connected with the divine, and I get downloads of information. But not only that, I have coached people through it, and that's the absolute truth. I have watched people with NTP type behaviors start to change and start to morph. Now, it takes some time. As with any healing, it takes some time because they have to want it. And it usually comes when the pain of staying the same, like I said, outweighs the fear, the change, the stubbornness, the pride, whatever, of growth and change. Because people, we like to be comfortable as human beings. We want to be in that same groove all the time because this is what we know, this is what we've always known, and this feels comfortable to us. Human beings don't like to be uncomfortable. We want to feel safe all the time, even if it's within dysfunctional relationship patterns. I know, mind-blowing is it? We're just funny little creatures. So I want to tell you this bit. When I was with a NTP type person, which I'm still borderline whether this person's a real narcissist or not. I thought so. I really do believe so. But knowing what I know now, maybe not. It might be on the NTP spectrum, which brings up another point is that all of this is a huge spectrum. If you got the hardcore narcissist over here, you've got all of this within here until you reach, which is the healthy behaviors. And the same thing is true on the other side of the spectrum. You got hardcore people pleasing over here, and you got all this spectrum over here. Okay. So wherever your person is on this spectrum, I don't even know. You may not even know. However, they can change if the stakes are high enough. They've got to want it more than anything. The same is true for any healing that happens in this life. We've got to want it more than anything. Oh, which reminds me to go back to the story I was just about to tell you, that the person, the narcissist in my life, actually said to me when I called him out on his behaviors consistently, he actually said to me one day, do you know that you are the first person in my life to ever call me out on my behavior? And at the time, he was probably in his early 30s. So this means that this person has been getting away with holy hell for decades because nobody else in their life was calling them out. which brings me back to the old fact that sometimes they are created because they have been so enabled. It's all about them. The people in their life have made it all about them, or didn't want to rock the boat, or scare them, or make them nervous, or make them feel bad, or do whatever that they do. And this person never got called out, and they know it. That's what's even more mind blowing. He even had the wherewithal to say to me, "You're the first person to ever call me out. Yet I'm going to cheat on you. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to abandon the family. I'm going to do all the things," because he was still so stuck and grooved into his way of being. And the pain of staying the same had not yet outweighed pride, stubbornness, ego, healing, fear of the unknown, all of the things. So he cashed me in and went into another relationship, which, by the way, crashed and burned that one, went to another marriage and crashed and burned that one. Now, where he's at on his healing journey, I have no idea because I'm not in proximity with him anymore. However, it could have been enough to start him to wake up, because he's starting to realize that he too is the common denominator in his relationships. Now, you might be wondering why I'm telling you all this, and this is a really important point embedded in all of this, and that is that when you meet somebody who is an NTP, you don't yet know what other people have said or done in relationship to them, which means, did they set boundaries? Did they call them out on their behavior? Are you the 10th time they've heard this, or are you the first? And if you are the first, chances are your person is not going to have that place inside of them, because they're still so wounded, and they're like these baby NTPs that haven't grown at all. And so they're just going to say, "Yeah, forget you. I'll go find somebody else to put up with my shit." All right. But if it's someone who's gone through this several times and they're kind of getting the same results, and they themselves are suffering too, because this is another interesting fact. A lot of times people think NTPs aren't suffering. Oh, they are, because they're human beings. Again, remember, their behaviors were created. Their behaviors came from trauma, lack of parenting, all the things. So they're still a soul. They still have a mind, and they know what they're doing, which is mind blowing to me, because they act so dumb. They act like they have no idea what we're talking about, and we're so incredibly crazy, but they know, just like mine did when he said I was the first person to call him out. So what does all of this mean for you? What does this mean? What this means is, if you're dealing with a true blue narcissist, chances are likely your person is not going to change. I would run from the hills. I'd get far away as possible. The whole no contact thing. I mean, do anything you possibly can, because that person is the Tasmanian devil. They're on a path of destruction. You are not the only person that's in their path, and other people are getting affected by this too. Not only you and the ones that you love and you are in care of, but other people in their life too, because this is who they are. And until it gets really, really bad and something awful happens to them, then they're probably just going to stay on that path. However, people on the NTP spectrum, they can change. But this is not going to happen unless or until you are willing to set and maintain healthy boundary after healthy boundary after healthy boundary. The consistency here is key. You have to know how to set the boundary and hold the boundary, and have a consequence for that boundary if they cross it. Here's the thing. If we give somebody a boundary and they cross the boundary and we just sit there, then guess what? They're just going to keep crossing that boundary over and over again, because nothing happens. However, if they cross that boundary when you said, "Do not cross this line," you remove yourself from their proximity and their energy. And you keep doing this repeatedly over and over and over and over and over again. If they love you, if they value the relationship, they're going to start to look inward, and they're going to start to want to change, shift, evolve some aspect inside of themselves. Now, can I say that this is 100% true for everybody's story that's going to be watching this? Unfortunately, I cannot, because I'm not in your life. I know nothing about your person. I know nothing about you. I don't know anything about your dynamic. I don't know how long this has been going on for this person, or where they're at in their own spiritual journey. This is something that you're going to have to do on your own. This is a solo journey. But I'm telling you this, the most important step that you can ever take is to heal your own self-worth. I know this is shocking, because you're dealing with them. You want to go out there and change them, but you can't change them. We can't change other people, but we can empower ourselves. So by healing our self-worth, stepping into our true value, our empowerment and our strength is going to raise. And by doing that, we are going to show up with 0 Fs when it comes to laying those boundaries with them. It's going to be a hell effing no. And you're going to be willing to pull yourself out of that if this person continues it. Unless or until you are willing to empower yourself, this could go on and on and on for decades because your NTP needs to feel the pain of what staying in the same set of behaviors means for them. Once they feel that pain, hopefully they wake up. So I hope this makes so much sense to you all. I hope this clears things up for you because this is very confusing. Narcissists are being thrown around like crazy out in the world. And I feel like we need to get really, really clear about what it is that we are dealing with. But if you are someone who does not feel you have the strength and you are far away from being able to hold those firm boundaries, then you might want to consider leaving that person and getting the bleep out of their life because they may inflict so much damage on you that you may get to a point where that's not going to be good. So please go within and ask yourself, where am I on this journey? How strong am I? Am I willing to do the work to stand up to this person because I do truly love them and 75 to 80% of them is great? Or do I just not have it in me right now and I need to cut my losses and move on? This is going to be one of the most important decisions that you will probably ever make. But please know that you got God Source Universe on your side. All you have to say is guide me, show me, help me. I am willing to see what I cannot see right now. And I promise you, universe is going to come in and guide you every step of the way. So thank you all for being here. If you enjoyed this episode, you got a lot of clarity from it. Please like this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new here and leave a comment below. Love, love, love your comments. Also share with someone that you love. Considering all of us think we're dealing with narcissists, there's probably somebody out there in your proximity that could use this information as well. Oh, and one more thing, forgot to mention. If you want to cut the learning curve on healing your self-worth, I highly recommend you jumping over to Amazon and grabbing my book, The Recovering People Pleaser. I'll put the link up here, also be in the description below. This is how I healed. This is how I stopped attracting toxic and low vibe people to me. And I also learned how to handle those people that came into my life later. This is the self-healing guide that you need. Thank you all so much for being here. Until next time, remember, you have everything you have inside, not only to heal yourself, but to show up to your NTP or narcissist person with the most empowered behavior. Sending you so much love on your journey.